Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to episode 4 of the Blues'n'2s series. We're just over halfway through the series. We've got a couple more episodes coming up. This is episode 4. I am absolutely delighted and privileged to have my great pal, Mr. Tom Jordan from 20 Watt Tombstone in Wisconsin, Wausau, Wisconsin in the USA. Tom was very instrumental in me going to the USA the first time, and he's been instrumental in helping us out every time. And hello, Mags McD, and hello, Ian Siddons, Ivor Corbally, Margaret McDonald. There's quite a lot of people watching, so I think it is probably time to say hello to Mr. Tom Jordan. Evening, Tom.
What's up, Dave?
Well, I said evening, and it's kind of afternoon, really, isn't it, where you are?
It's early here. It's 2 p.m. So this is not alcohol in here. This is tea. I had my coffee, so I figured I'd lay back a little bit and have some tea in my Deadpool mug. So
it's a very cool mug, man.
It is.
I can't say there isn't alcohol in here, or
Well, it's over there.
Or perhaps in here there's some other stuff.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I'd never drank at 2 p.m. before, but, I would like this interview to go well, so I'll try to be sober for this at least.
Well, the thing is, it's we're just chatting, and it's nice to see so many people watching. I've just noticed I'm trying to monitor this as we're talking, so I'm trying to kind of look at you, look at the camera, and look at the monitor. And hi, Sarah Ward. But the thing is, it's auto subtitling it, and it hasn't a fucking clue what we're talking about. The subtitles may as well be in Swahili or something, Mind you, or Deep Scots, I don't know. Oh, man. So, in the introduction, I mentioned that, we'd known each other. We've actually known each other for a lot more than 7 years, because it goes right back to MySpace days, doesn't it?
Oh, MySpace, yeah. Back in the day, where the social media hotspot was, MySpace. I don't even remember. Did I message you first, or did you message me? I don't remember. One of us was talking to the other one, and
you messaged me, and I think it was maybe even your first message. You said, "Have you ever thought about coming to the USA?" And that led me into my usual rant about fucking visas and stuff. And you bought a t-shirt.
Yeah, that was a while ago, man. MySpace has been out of commission for a while, but yeah, I remember like checking your stuff out because I noticed you played slide, and I was like, man, this guy would be a huge hit in the US. We need to get him here. So I figured I'd ask. It can't hurt, That's always kind of been my thing, is like, for networking purposes, like my goal is always to bring bands here, to Wisconsin. Yeah. Because I think we have a good scene here. And I try to introduce the people here to cool stuff that I like. And some of it goes over, some of it doesn't. I brought some weird stuff here that I thought was pretty cool that didn't go over well. You were not one of them. You were one of the ones that went over awesome. But every once in a while, I'll bring something weird, and I'll see some looks in the crowd from people, and I'll be like, okay, lesson learned. This is a me thing. This is not, something that everybody gets. But yeah, that's my thing. I try to bring cool stuff here that I like in the hopes that other people like it too.
Well, it's certainly in between that initial MySpace, when we hooked up on there, in 2013, because it was 7 years ago this day that we played together at the Cruise Inn in Wausau, albeit Mean Tooth Grin and not 20 Watt Tombstone.
Yeah.
7 years ago today. I nearly said 20 years ago today. I'm pissed already.
Yeah, didn't we do Chicago that same weekend too? I think we did.
Yeah, you lined up a whole load of gigs. We did Reggie's in Chicago. We did the very first gig we did together was at Quaddy's in Rhinelander. Yeah. Do you remember?
That was a wild one. Can Can I say what happened?
Yeah, absolutely,
Are
man.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, for all of you listening, we got Dave hammered, like hammered, on cherry bombs, and he didn't know what they were. So we just kept having the bartender dump them down his throat. And on the way home, he was following us, and I saw the lights flash behind us, and so I'm like, oh no, they must have to pull over. Well, they had to pull over because Dave had to throw up over a bridge. So good times in Wisconsin. You'll never forget
Oh,
coming here the
yeah.
first time.
No, wow. And it was the ditch runners were playing that night as well. It was a great
Yeah,
night. But the
yeah.
thing is, I nearly followed the spew over the parapet of the bridge. And I think Margaret or you grabbed the waistband of my jeans and stopped me fucking going right over.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was
I think that was
crazy.
Margaret.
Oh,
'Cause when we came up, I think you were pretty much done because we
I was
pulled over
wiping
and I
it
think
down.
you hopped out. And yeah, we didn't really know what was going on. And Margaret's like, I think he had a wee too much to drink tonight.
Oh, well, there's some people on here, Perry and Alistair Cunningham and Steve, all saying surprised that I was hammered. I think there's maybe a level of sarcasm in there.
How many people are watching?
I think we've got about 40 or 50 at the moment. It's been kind of
Oh, wow.
fluctuating about a bit. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. And
It's not bad
it's
for
nice
2
of
in the
everybody to
afternoon.
tune in. Yeah, it's nice to have people tuning in and joining. There's Corinne Angel in. I thought you were teetotal, Dave. Well, Corinne, I denote another note of sarcasm. So I think it's about time that everybody got to hear this mysterious Tom Jordan from 20 Watt Tombstone. So I'm going to make you full screen, and we'll look forward to a song from you, man.
All right. Let me grab my guitar quick here.
Cool.
All right. So I figured since I do, fuzzy rock and roll stuff most of the time, since I'm on here with Blues Guy, I better play some blues. So I'm gonna do a couple blues covers because I never get to do this stuff. So I'm gonna do "Rollin' and Tumblin'," which everybody thinks is a Muddy Waters tune, and he made it famous, but it was not written by him. It was written by Hambone Willie Newburn around 1929, I believe. So, yeah, not much known about the guy. Supposedly he died in a prison brawl. That's really all there is. Not much out there about him. But anyway, this is "Rollin' and Tumblin'." Rolling up some old crowd all night long. Rolling up some old crowd all night long. Oh, God, all I hear is gone. So my baby, before I left the town, oh my baby, before I left the town, don't let nobody live my bare house down. was whiskey, I was a diving dude. I'm on the bottle, Lord, I never go.
Awesome, man. Sweet.
Thanks, man.
Great sound guitar as well. That's nice tricone, man. It's So what have you been doing through lockdown? What's lockdown been like in Wisconsin?
I've had a pretty uninteresting lockdown, actually. It's been awesome though. Like a lot of people are like, man, like you gotta really, oh, this has gotta be terrible. And financially it's been tough, but like before this, I've been so busy. Like, 2018, we did like 200 shows in a year. And then last year was a real crazy year too. So like I have had no time to do anything. So as much as it sucks to not be working, like I haven't had a break. So it's been kind of nice to actually be able to spend time with my wife and, do some stuff around the house. Cause there's a ton of stuff. We bought a house last year. And there's a ton of stuff that needs to be done here. So I actually have some time.
A very nice house as well.
Well, thank you.
Got a dog.
I've been working on the yard and, stuff like that. And I built my wife an above ground garden. I've been working on writing too, because we got to release a record soon. So I've been working on that and some other stuff. And in my spare time, watching horror movies and playing retro video games. So super crazy.
It's been much the same here, and I was talking to somebody who is doing not next week. Next week it's Ismo from Finland that's on Blues'n'2s. The following week, the last one is Ted Drozdowski from Scissormen, who's down in Nashville. And we're talking about stuff, just really wanted, much as we did a week or two ago, to test if this was actually going to work. And you were talking about the lockdown and that, yeah, it's shit for 99.99% of us from a financial point of view. But in some perverse way, I hesitate to say it's been quite good, but it has helped us, refocus sometimes, and maybe that's no bad thing,
Yeah, for sure. I think, I don't know, for me at least, it's made me appreciate a lot of things that maybe I didn't appreciate before. Like local businesses. I've always been a big supporter of local business, but this has made me realize even more so how fragile small business is for all of us, because you and I are small businessmen too. At the end of the day, we're self-employed people just like a bar owner or anybody else. There's overhead in what we do. I had a club owner a while back say, you can't compare being in a band to being in a bar business because you don't spend anywhere near the amount of money I do. And I said, well, you're probably right. You're probably right. I probably don't spend what you spend. But I said, we spend a lot of money every year. When we do our taxes and I have to write down all the stuff for our accountant, I am blown away by how much money we spend into this to make this work.
Scary.
Because it's, and it's like, when you spend 20 grand a year on something, that's a lot of money to put into a business, for guys like you and I spending 20 grand a year on making music, to people, some people just go, 20 grand, you spent 20 grand on a band. How do you do that? Well, When we buy a computer, that's a business expense. When we repair a vehicle, that's a business expense. We buy amps, guitars, all that stuff, it's a business expense. You know, t-shirts, screen printing, visas,
travel, flights, visas,
visas, flights, all of it. You know, it's
promotion.
Exactly.
Well, we've got to try and pay ourselves as well a little bit.
Well, yeah, you got to make a living too. But, you know, in any business, you got to spend money to make money. And people ask me all the time, they're like, well, you seem to be doing okay with, you know, the business side of this. How do you do it? And I'm like, I'm not afraid to spend money. You know, you said to me once a long time ago, you said, I don't mind paying for work as long as work gets done. And that is a very wise quote, because you can't do everything yourself. The trick is to pay the right people to do the right things for you and make an investment so you can make money back, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, definitely that very first tour I mentioned, I kind of nodded to it earlier, that really in between the MySpace time and me actually getting to the USA for the first time, which was 2013, well, first time for a tour. And I mean, if it wasn't for, I mean, there were 3 people that were really instrumental in encouraging me and making it happen. One was yourself, top of the list. Chris up at the Bayport Barbecue, and awesome. Casey Weber.
Casey's awesome too.
These are all people. Interestingly, you're all Midwest people. So it was a Midwest.
I was gonna say Midwest boys.
So that was why I was just thinking, right, what am I going to play? And I thought, right, I'm going to play a song. It goes out to you and Chris and Casey, and it's I think it's appropriately called Good Friend Blues. So I'm going to see something. I think I was trying to press buttons with finger picks on. I think it fucked everything up. Anyway, hopefully you're still there. And it's dawned on me that both Tom and I are playing kind of, well, Tom, if I remember rightly, your guitar is dark blue. So we've got a dark blue guitar and a black guitar. So this is for you, Chris Johnson and Casey Weber, and everybody that's watching, of course. It's called Good Friend Blues. It's the first song I ever wrote. Daddy told me, son, you're not alone. My daddy told me, son, you're not alone. That was then, now it's 10 years gone. Oh yeah, come on, come on. So now I'm lonesome, except for my good old friend. So now I'm lonesome, except for my good old friend. I ain't gonna have trouble, woo, right until the end. Good friend blues, especially for you. Oh man. Oh, there he is! Stinky boy! How's he
He
doing?
wanted to say hi.
Hey man.
He's doing good.
Good to...
He just woke up. He was
'cause
taking a
looks
nap.
quite... Last time we saw him, he was really, really hyper. And
Oh, yeah, that's every time he sees another person. Anybody new that doesn't live here, he freaks out. He's gotta get his loving in.
man, I just remember coming to the door and being amazed at how high he could jump. He's like bouncing dog.
Yeah, for a little dog, he's
And-
got
And he had a sore
Yeah,
leg
he
or
can
a
jump
sore
pretty
hip
high.
at the time.
Yeah,
it was-
he when we come to the door out here, when like when we leave him home and we come home, there's a window in the door and you can see his face. He'll bounce up and he'll come face level with you.
Oh, wow. One of the other things that came to mind was, it's actually going to be 6 years ago this year. One of my other strongest memories of you and Mitch, and also folk pancakes and Alison and everyone, Ivy, my 50th birthday, which happened to be a show with you and Mitch and the Ditch Runners and myself at the Lyric Room in Green Bay. That was an eventful evening.
Oh. Yeah, I almost killed Mitch that night. That was an interesting weekend. I will leave out the details, but needless to say, Mitch and I had everybody thinks we get along great, and we do, but every once in a while, very rarely, but once in a while, we'll have a knockdown, drag out fight real bad, and then we work our shit out and we move on, and we keep playing shows. He and I have been together since 2010, 2011. 2011. That's 2011. He started playing with me in Mean Tooth Grin, and we started 20 Watt kind of on the side as a goof around project, and it took off and did way better than the other project that was the main gig at the time. And now I can't get rid of him.
Isn't it weird how that happens? I mean, I started doing the solo stuff. I had a band that was probably a bit more, only slightly more accessible to people, really. But you would have expected the band to be much more in demand. But it was a solo thing that seemed to. There doesn't ever seem to be any rhyme or reason to this. What seems to work and have some legs, and what doesn't is kind of weird. But we saw. Well, I've seen 2 live streams that you and Mitch did. There was one was like a full concert with fucking lighting and a proper PA and everything, and then there was the one you did with the distillery, and you were just drinking shit. It was great.
Yeah. We actually did 2 of the show type ones with full production, lights, sound, the whole deal. We have a buddy who is one of the state's best sound guys, Sean Smith, at Brutal Beats, and he started doing live streams, and he was trying to make a living too, and so we were like, hey, we'll pay this guy to do it. We'll get good sound, we'll get good video, hopefully get a lot of people to watch because it'll sound good. Because that's really what a lot of people complain about with streams is they're like, yeah, I really want to support you guys, but they sound like shit. So we were like, we'll make a small investment, help a friend in the process. And then while we were talking about doing it, we just decided, we're hurting for money, but a lot of people are doing worse than us. So we turned it into a benefit to help, COVID-19 and, help hospitals with supplies and that sort of thing, and make a donation to the COVID-19 response fund as well. So that first one, we didn't really even make any money off of. Like, people bought merch and we made some money that way, but we donated 100% of what we made towards, helping hospitals out locally and all over the country. And then, awesome. Helping here too as well. But our buddy Sean James did one like that, and I kind of hit him up about it and was like, hey, I kind of want to do this thing. What are your thoughts? And he gave me some really good pointers on how to do it, make it, legit, so that strangers who watched who maybe didn't know us would still want to donate and help out. So that one did really well. Then we did one after that where we did it for ourselves, kind of to make some money, and that went really well. And then we did the distillery one where we just basically, shot the shit with people and tried out all the timekeeper distillery stuff, which that's a distillery in my hometown. And, they're super involved in the community, super great business. They're pet friendly. You can go there and take your pets out on the patio and have a cocktail. So it's a business that, is super cool that we kind of wanted to support. So we did that. But they also donated hand sanitizer to our benefit for the hospitals too. So
nice one. That's really cool. Quick shout out to some people, Wardy and Sarah, and you'll know Karen Peterman. She's saying hello to us, and Elaine Holmes. Hello, Elaine. And also from your end, Magdalena, who we saw last year at the Pollock Inn. She's always at these gigs. And who else is in here? Sander, Melanie Buchanan, hello. Nice to see you. Brian Forge, hello. And Bill Keane. And you've all just joined in time for another song from Mr. Tom Jordan. What are you going to give us this time, Tom?
It's my turn.
Comes round quick.
Yeah. So there's a blues song I probably play all the time just because I like it. And whenever people ask me to do stuff like this, it's a song I always try to play. Do you have a problem with bad lyrics?
No.
Okay, I didn't think you did. But I needed to make sure.
Like.
So this song,
I appreciate it, but yeah.
Well, I figure it's polite to check. I got kicked out of a bar in Georgia for playing this song. So since then, I have changed my attitude about it. I always ask, but
even more reason to play it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I think this song is important historically because a lot of people think that older music didn't have the violence and stuff that metal music started to have in the 80s or whatever. And this song is always something I bring up because this, in my opinion, might be the most violent song ever written. Maybe not. Cannibal Corpse might have them beat, but yeah. So this is a song by Louisiana Red. He's a Alabama-born blues man. He wasn't one of the more famous dudes. He played with John Lee Hooker. He was a vet. His dad was lynched when he was a kid. Pretty hard, tough life, which is what made a lot of those guys awesome. But anyway, this is a Louisiana Red tune, and it's called Sweet Blood Call. And I have done this before, so if you've seen one of my streams and you've seen it, I apologize that you get to hear it twice. Have a hard time missing you, baby. With my pistol in your mouth. Hard time missing you, babe. With my pistol in your mouth. Maybe thinking about going north, but your brains are staying south. Just roll your pretty eyes if you intend to stay. Roll your pretty eyes if you intend to stay. Close him up again, and I'll blow your world away. See, your eyes are rolling, must mean your love has come back. Must mean you're satisfied again with a little old country shade. Have a hard time missing you, babe, with my pistol in your mouth. Maybe thinking about going north, but your brains are staying south. Even if you sneak away, I'll find you before nightfall. Even if you sneak away, Lord, I'll find you before nightfall. You're tied to me, girl. I can hear your sweet blood call.
Most excellent. Thanks, Tom. That was fucking superb, man. I love it.
Thank you.
And judging by the reactions, most of the people watching loved it as well, if not all of them. But I have to before I forget, Bill Keane said, any chance of a quick tour of Tom's tattoos on your arms? Have you got any tattoo stories that you can show off some of them?
I'll just tell you one story. You see that?
Cash only.
That's from getting paid with too many checks in too many clubs. And now I just drum my fingers on the counter. And when they tell me they're going to pay me with a check, I say, boy, can we get cash?
Also quite handy. Can you not see this?
Yeah. Funny story. So there's a club we play in North Carolina, and a buddy of mine was helping us set up a show there not too long ago. And he calls me back and he's like, yeah, man. So I was talking to him and they're like, yeah, we really want to make this work, and we had a guarantee and it's a door deal there primarily, but we were like, we want to do a door deal this time. So apparently the owner of the club told our buddy, he's like, man, that guy has cash only tattooed on his knuckles. Like we can't pay him with a check. Like we got to pay him cash at the end of the night. And I was like, man, it's working.
Brilliant.
We're getting around.
Wow. So how is, I mean, you've done these live streams and stuff with Mitch. Have you had, or does it look like you'll get any back to semi-normality as far as gigging goes anytime soon?
Well, we had a festival that we played July 5th called Vintage Torque Fest in Dubuque, Iowa. And that was our test. That was to kind of see how things were and see if we were ready, if people were ready, if things were ready. And the guy who puts that on, John Wells, is just an awesome guy. Like I love working with that guy. When it comes to hospitality and pay and all this stuff, the guy is just he's on his shit. Like his events are awesome. He promotes well. He gets people out to these things, and he has amazing bands. Like I'm always blown away by the bands he has. So we were supposed to play it. It was supposed to happen in end of March, I believe it was supposed to happen. No, May. I'm sorry. But we were supposed to play there in May, and we were supposed to be doing a tour with a band called Ape Machine, who is amazing. And our goal was we were going to start with this fest. We were going to do a week-long run with this band. Had it all planned out. It was working out awesome. Well, then COVID happened while we were on this last tour with Tombstone, and it just kind of knocked all of that out. So Vintage Torque Fest got canceled. The tour with that band got canceled, but then Vintage Torque Fest rescheduled, and they rescheduled for the weekend of July 4th. So we told them we were in as long as nothing big happened, no catastrophic things. And at the time, it looked like things were kind of getting better here in Wisconsin, at least. And it looked like, there was a little bit of relief. It wasn't fantastic, but we thought maybe we could get away with a show because it was outdoors. That was the other thing. We agreed we weren't going to play any indoor shows. It was going to be only outdoor shows. And the protocol in place for safety needed to be exactly what we needed it to be. Well, this show was all of that. The guy, I told him, I said, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but we have very specific things that we need given the circumstances. We don't want to just play because it's safe for us. We want to be able to tell our fans that it's safe for them. And in order to do that, we need to feel 100% that it is, because we don't want to be the guys who tell somebody something's safe and then find out it's not. I think we have a responsibility to the people that we, our fans and friends, to keep them safe. So this festival did everything right. They did everything right. My feelings on not playing are not because of anything they did. But we played, and it was a good show. People showed up. There wasn't a ton of mask wearing in the people that watched us, but people spaced out, and that was good. But one thing I've realized is when you have alcohol and you have a show, no matter what time of day it is, you always got the guy that wants to touch you. He's always got to touch you, man. There's always that dude. So, yeah, there was a dude that was like, he wanted to come up and give me a hug. And I'm like, look, man, given the circumstances, I can't hug you. I'm like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but, I am considered at risk. I have bad asthma. I have scarred up lungs. Like, I can't get it. And I don't want to give it to somebody else either. So he got kind of offended, and he walked away. And then we had a lot of other people that were super cool, but there was another guy that was offended when I wouldn't shake his hand. And I'm like, dude, it is nothing personal. I'm not going to shake your hand because, you know, if I have something, I don't want to give it to you. If you have something, I don't want you to give it to me because, you know, I've got a mom who's also high risk. And we're being very cautious. We're being very careful. I would rather err on the side of caution and be wrong than not err on the side of caution and be wrong, you know? So, given that show, I mean, I have no complaints about the show or the promoters. They were amazing. I just, you know, people in general, no matter how many of them are being safe, you're always going to have that drunk guy in the front row that wants to touch you and hang out with you, and, you know, or the creepy girl who's got touchy tattoos and like they're Braille and be like, oh, what does this mean? You know, like it's just, it's not an environment where you can get away with not being touched, you know? The only way to control it is if you invite every single person personally, you know, all of them, and you tell them all no touching, you stay 6 feet apart. So, I mean, for me, for us, I'm kind of at the point where I'm not in a real big hurry to go play shows right now. Live streaming is going to have to be how we make our living for now. You know, just because it just, I don't think it's time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you get the can I touch your beard? Because, I mean, if I get can you touch my beard, you're going to get 10 times more can I touch your beards, because yours is luxurious, man.
It's very soft. I don't get it as much now because people have seen pictures of my wife, and she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous, but there's something about her
Allison.
that, you know, she'll whoop your ass. Like, she has that look.
Yeah, you don't fucking mess with Allison.
Yeah, and I'm very, very vocal about my marriage now. I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression, so if a girl comes up and talks to me at a show and she's like, hey, you guys were awesome, and then I get the vibe that maybe she might be talking to me for more than just telling me how awesome the band is, I try to incorporate you know, yeah, well, you know, the weather's really good. I called my wife earlier and blah, blah, blah. I try to ease it in the conversation. I'm clever like that. But yeah, I still get it. Dude, I get it from guys, which is weird. Like, guys will be like, dude, can I touch your beard? And I'll be like, no.
Yeah,
why not?
Of course, why not?
Because that's
I've probably
weird,
done it,
bro. Yeah. I had, honestly, dude, one time, I had a guy on stage. He was talking about my beard, and during a song, he came up and pulled my beard. And I stopped the song, and I'm like, dude, if you fucking do that again, I'm gonna knock you out with the headstock of this guitar. Like, that is not cool. And he backed off, but like, yeah, I've had equal amounts of men and women try to touch my beard, and yeah, it's not fun. You know,
I can identify a little bit with it, but we're a little bit behind you on the easing of lockdown stuff in Scotland. We still can't do anything, and there's been somebody locally wanting me to play a show, outdoor, socially distanced and stuff. And again, probably a lot of invited people, but until we have an absolute go ahead from the Scottish government that it's allowed, we don't want to break any guidelines. Because of the safety thing, but also we want to be seen to be complying and doing our bit as well, you know. But
I guess
it's tough times, and there's going to be a lot of a lot more live streams to go. I mean, I was due to be in the Midwest next month, but I didn't really get out. I think I only got as far as booking about 6 shows when lockdown started, and then I stopped because I thought, well, this isn't going to happen. And then there was going to be an East Coast tour in October. We've blown that out, so I think it's going to be next May before we really try and plan to be back in the States. And then my visa runs out in just over a year's time. So we'll have to kind of take stock of what's going down and what have you. So we'll see. So I think I'm going to play another tune now. It's funny because although it was cash only, people might only see the cash knuckles and think it's a tribute to the Man in Black. And so this isn't a Johnny Cash song, but it has echoes of it because it's called Cotton on My Back. And I'm playing it because it's the only thing I can think of in this tuning. And it goes a little bit. It's funny, I've got earplug things on, or earphones, whatever the fuck you call them. And I keep thinking I've got my specs balanced on top of my head, but it's the earphone things. Anyway, here we go. Some say I'm a bad guy, always dressed in black. Don't think you should judge me with a cotton on my back. Oh, I might be a little messed up, but that don't give you the right to take me for the devil. I won't go without a fight. Come on! Never been a good boy, my 501s are black. Just cause I was brought up on the wrong side of the tracks. Oh, I might be a little fucked up, but that don't give you the right to take me for the devil. I won't go without a fight. Come on, guitar, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Forget your old ideas, just give it a chance. Might see something different if you take another glance. So I might be a little messed up, but that don't give you the right to take it for the devil. I won't go without a fight. All the jaded losers, take another look. Might see something different if you open up that book. Cause I might be a little fucked up, but that don't give you the right to take it for the devil. I won't go without a fight to take it for the devil. I won't go without a fight to take me for the devil. I won't go without a fight. Oh. Shit, man, it's weird playing sitting down, isn't it?
Oh, I play my resonator sitting down, but I don't play my electric sitting down. So like, I have to like when I sit and play, I have to sit like this. I have to sit with it between my legs, like this, because I can't sit like this. It just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel right.
For me, sitting down, the guitar just feels too high up. And
yeah.
I can't remember if it's Joe Ely or Steve Earle. Somebody's got a song about, is it Me and Billy the Kid? And they didn't like him because he wore his gun too high. You know, and we're like that with our guitars. We like them kind of low down. None of this fucking haircut 100 stuff with the guitars or Franz Ferdinand the way up here, you know. Not that I dislike Franz Ferdinand, but I just think you look like a fanny if you play your guitar up there, you know.
Yeah,
it
doesn't feel right to me.
No, and I would rather, like, it's much more comfortable standing up with your guitar down as far as it'll go.
Yeah, I agree.
So before we finish up, man, what have you got planned? I mean, obviously you've mentioned about the live thing is going to be a slow return, but you mentioned what other things are you going to get busy with? Have you and Mitch got some stuff that you're working on together for new stuff? And you mentioned perhaps a new album sometime soon.
Yeah, we're going to try to release an EP, hopefully soon here. I'm not going to say much more about it. It's going to be way different than anything we've ever done, but it's going to be real short, and it's that's all I'm going to say about it. Probably be 2 songs, real short EP, get something out. The real record hopefully will be out later this year. We're still working on writing it, but the goal is to get this 2-song EP released here soon. We're running into some issues with getting it recorded because of the virus. There's some travel involved, which isn't really the issue, but there's some other stuff that things aren't just lining up the way that we wanted them to. So we're just being patient, and hopefully that'll happen here within the next month or so.
Cool. Well, man, and I just hope that we'll actually get to see each other in the flesh before too long. But this has been it's been a good second best thing, man, to be able to chat on here, swap some stories, and hear you do some acoustic stuff. But I'm going to say big hi, of course, to Mitch, and love to Alison and all our Stinky and all our pals over there, because man, you guys have fucking opened up the Midwest, if not the entire USA. And I'll always be indebted and grateful for that. And I really hope, I mean, it was great that you got to tour Europe last year, but it was such a bummer that you didn't get to the UK. And I'm hoping that we can sort that out as soon as this shitstorm lifts. And man, people here in Scotland, there's some folk desperate to fucking see you guys, man.
We would love to. It's just the UK has been a hard nut to crack, man. Like we just, I don't know. I get people asking us to go there all the time, you know, on our Instagram and on our Facebook, you know, and I keep telling everybody, I'm like, you know, if you want us there, tell your favorite clubs, you know, tell them to look us up. If you know agents that book stuff, you know, that sort of thing. So I think it'll happen eventually. It's one of those things. It took us a while to get to Europe. You know, we had a couple offers and they didn't really pan out. We had a festival offer once a couple years ago that we thought was going to pan out, but they just didn't have the resources to give us a tour or any of the stuff we needed to make it work. And we didn't want to fly over there for one show. It's just not.
Oh, yeah, man. But I mean, with people like Ozzy and, you know, certainly the Left Lane Cruiser guys, and you know, the UK is very difficult, but you know, I think, you know, certainly if you were to come to Scotland, we would be able to organise, you know, 4 or 5 shows through Scotland and maybe the north of England for us to do together, because I know a lot of my folk are just, when's 20 Watt Tombstone coming? When's Tom and Mitch coming? Because everybody knows Tom and Mitch, you know. It's,
well, and Ozzy's been such a huge help, man. That guy he's family as far as I'm concerned.
He fucking rocks, man. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he's helped us out a ton. So, like, you know, even if we could figure out a way to go over to Europe, do some dates with him, and then hop over to the UK, I think that would be fun. I'd love to bring him to the UK and have him, you know, TM for us for the whole thing. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because he's done a lot of tours for people in the UK, and he knows it here like the back of his hand. So he's a good guy to have on site anywhere.
He's the dude, man. He's the guy over there. Like when he picked us up at the airport, and all we did from that point on was play. Like he did everything else. I love that dude. I will say this though, we slightly Americanized him a little bit, which might be bad. So we taught him some bad things. When I came home, I
remember.
when I came home, I told my wife some of the shit that we did to him, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's never gonna work with you again." I'm like, "No, he loved it. He thought it was hilarious." You know, when we were done with the tour, I was worried that maybe we had gone too far with him. Because I won't go into detail, but we weren't exactly easy on Ozzy. But when we left, I was like, man, I hope we didn't, you know, because European senses of humor are a little different than American senses of humor. But Ozzy gets it. Ozzy has an amazing sense of humor. It's hilarious. Like he was cracking jokes when he picked us up at the airport, and we were looking at each other like, this guy's fucking awesome. Like these are the kind of jokes we tell each other. So our sense of humor, like it was nice having somebody that got it, because like over there we'd say jokes and people would look at us like, what does that mean? You know, I had a guy, because we did that ridiculous shirt for that tour. We did the one where I'm on a dragon and Mitch is on a unicorn and there's laser guns and rainbows. We thought that was hilarious. We went over there and so many people did not get that shirt. Like there were people like holding it up and they're like, that's as interesting. I'll take the other one. You know, but Ozzy thought that shirt was hilarious. Like, I don't know. I love that dude. He's awesome. He helped us out a ton, and he made that tour awesome. There is absolutely no way I could have driven over there. I would have had an anxiety attack. Like he handled everything like a boss, and he is, in my opinion, the best at what he does. And I refer him to other bands that are looking for help over there because he's so awesome. And he's a good guy.
Us too. And you know that if you get in a big fuck off hole, he'll get you out, you know. For sure.
Or he'll put somebody else in a big fuck off hole.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, listen, Tom, it's been fucking great evening. I think Margaret's got the dinner ready. And your afternoon's probably getting on. So again, hi to Alison and Pancakes and everybody over there. Say hello to everyone and Mitch, of course. And look forward to seeing you really, really soon, man. Meantime, stay well.
Thanks for having me on here.
Oh, thanks a million, Tom, man. Cheers. Well, the mighty Tom Jordan from the even mightier 20 Watt Tombstone. It's been an absolute fucking pleasure having Tom as my guest tonight. Next week, which will be episode, I don't know, it's episode 5 next week. And my guest will be Ismo Haavisto from Finland. We've done a few tours in Finland and the UK together, and we'll be doing some stuff together, hopefully in Finland in November. It was meant to be in June, but of course the virus fucked everything up. So, and many people in the UK anyway saw and enjoyed and loved Ismo. So he will be my guest next Monday, same time, 8 p.m. UK time. I'm not sure what time it is Finland time. It's probably early afternoon in the USA, and that's one to look forward to next week. Meantime, thanks again to Mr. Tom Jordan. Thanks, Tom. We'll see